Okay, Boxing Fanatics, welcome to the 12th episode of the Boxing Fanatics podcast. Today I just want to give you my thoughts on Ben Whittaker stopping Liam Cameron in the rematch. So, on Easter Sunday, we saw Ben Whittaker, basically prove a lot of people wrong in many ways by getting rid of Liam Cameron in 2 rounds. He landed a very nice right hand in the second round and then kind of unloaded a flurry of punches on Cameron. And then Howard Foster kind of jumped in and stopped the fight. Some people saying that it's a little bit early, but I think realistically, he was hurt. He was on the back foot. And I think it's hard to say that was harsh. I mean, it could have gone on a bit longer. I mean, he wasn't out on his feet, but there were quite a few unanswered punches there. And, I mean, Howard Foster is known for being a little bit quick to jump in. But for myself personally, I don't think it was a terrible stoppage just because he did unload and nothing was coming back from Cameron. Cameron really, in hindsight, I think someone mentioned it, should have maybe just taken a knee, taken a count, recovered, and then, maybe he would have survived the round. But as is always the case is with Whittaker, I mean, not always the case, but it's becoming a bit of a theme with Whittaker. It's no fight or no build-up is without controversy. So after the referee stopped the fight, Whittaker, instead of perhaps, jumping on the ropes or, kind of goading the crowd, I think most people would accept any of that. Goading the crowd, get in the middle of the ring, bang your chest and, basically, make a point that you've proved people wrong. But instead, Whittaker kind of goes flying up the rope to Cameron's team. And sort of, I mean, it's not really clear. Nothing's really confirmed. I mean, the replay shows liquid does come from his direction. We don't know if it's sweat, something coming from his mouth. But regardless, it was not a good look for Ben Whittaker. Regardless, as I mentioned, I think Whittaker, he could have handled that better. We know he's had a tough build-up. We know in the first fight there was a lot of, doubters, and there's a lot of people that thought he basically faked the injury. That he was the one who kind of threw Cameron over the ropes with him. So he had a lot of stick, Whittaker, and in the build-up to this fight, I think a lot of people thought that he might lose because, Cameron in the last fight was giving him some trouble, was somewhat getting to him before that technical decision came about. But yeah, this time round with Whittaker with, the caption "Jesus is King" on the back of his attire, and then he goes and does that. Not a good look for Ben Whittaker, and it's a bit of a shame because I think Whittaker last night did show that, he has got a lot of potential. He did what he was meant to do. That's exactly how you come back from a controversial first fight. He came back, he got the early stoppage, and that's probably what most people expected him to do in this first fight. But again, it's just kind of going to be overshadowed now by an incident. And look, at least after, from what I understand, it was all resolved. Apologies were made. There was respect between himself and Cameron, so that's always nice to see. But, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, interestingly, I think in the build-up of this fight, I think an interesting aspect was definitely the link-up with Andy Lee. And I think there was a big question of, would there be enough time with Andy Lee to kind of really kind of make a difference? But I'm going to assume, I'm going to make the suggestion here that time with Andy Lee actually done him a lot of good, because I think in the first fight, he really could not hurt Cameron at all. And he had a few fights before that where he just didn't seem to be hitting hard at all. But I'm going to actually, I know it's very early to say, but I'm going to actually say that link up with Andy Lee actually made him sit down on his punches more. Hence why he was able to actually hurt Cameron and actually get a stoppage. because that's his first stoppage in a few fights. And so, yeah, I think that link up definitely helped him. In terms of the first round, I wouldn't say it was cagey, but it looked like, from the first round, it looked like it was going to be a competitive fight. But that went out the window in the second round, basically. But, yeah, I mean, look, Whittaker gets the job done, and you have to think he moves on to bigger and better things. I don't think he's going to be fighting for a world title anytime soon, but slowly, they're probably going to up the level of competition next, maybe on the domestic scene. It's going to be interesting. And as far as Liam Cameron, for many people, he's won already. He's won. We know the backstory of Liam Cameron. He had a lot of issues. He had a hiatus from boxing. He was meant to get destroyed in the first fight. He didn't. He came back in the rematch. He was. I assume he was offered a massive payday for the rematch, which got even bigger because there was debate over whether it was going to be 10 rounds or 12 rounds. So it all depends on you look at things. It's prize fighting, end of the day. Liam Cameron, he lost in the end, I guess, to the better man, but he's a lot more well off for it. And I guess many people would say that's what it's all about in boxing. If you're going to put your life on the line when you step in the ring, you at least want to be well compensated. And we hope that Liam Cameron has made life-changing money. So whatever happens next for him, he's set himself and his family for life. But yeah, overall, look, it was a good win for Whittaker. It looks very good on paper. But it's hard to not mention, the incident at the end. It just builds a lot of controversy. But I guess perhaps to Whittaker's favour, he is really developing this kind of heel identity, this bad guy, quote unquote, which is going to make a lot of people tune into his fights. So it might actually do him good. It might actually, in terms of, commercially, he might just become someone that people want to tune in to watch him lose. And end of the day, whether people are tuning in to see you win or to see you lose, the most important thing is that they're tuning in. So commercially, it might actually help him, the fact that he's intentionally or not intentionally playing this kind of bad guy role. So those are my thoughts. A good win for Ben Whittaker. Liam Cameron can come again if he wants to. And let's see who Ben Whittaker fights next. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one.